No, that's enough. That's enough. Charlie, don't tear me to pieces.
Good night, Gloria.
Thanks for a marvelous time. Well, the reception committee.
What was the trouble between you?
The usual trouble.
He wasn't a gentleman.
They
They never are, these picked-up acquaintances, men you meet in hotels.
I wouldn't expect them to be.
And why'd you go out with them, Bessie?
Oh, God, in the kingdom of heaven, I wish you'd just...
Why did you go out with them?
Because if I didn't, I'd have to stay in with you. Isn't that a pretty good reason?
Your voice is hoarse.
I know it, it's always
then
hoarse.
Is it wise to go out?
Yes, it's wise. Infinite wisdom, that's me. The Sphinx of Egypt. I've got a job as a stand-in.
You're feverish.
Am I?
I can tell by the way you're talking. You broke an engagement with Vernon. He was over. He stayed and had a talk with me.
This lining is rotten.
He told me that you made yourself a
what?
subject for talk in a hotel barbershop.
That's marvelous. I'm delighted to hear it.
He told
Why
me that
should I get a press agent?
He told me that you pick up with strangers, transients at the Delta Plantis Hotel.
Indeed.
Tonight, he said you're out with a man that the vigilantes had warned to stay out of Blue Mountain.
He's lying. He's out of his mind.
No, you're out of yours.
I will be soon, but don't get out of this stifling atmosphere.
Where would you be otherwise? Jobless in your condition?
Oh, the Miami Biltmore. It's 2:30.
I know what time it is. I've done nothing but watch the clock.
When I was out on the road all those times, you didn't know where I was. You didn't know who I was out with.
No.
But you slept, didn't you?
No.
Jesus, the way you look, I believe you. Mother, you look like death.
So do you, like death at a masquerade party.
I've had lots of compliments on my appearance lately.
Oh, no doubt. Sarcastic remarks from people who laugh at you privately.
Why should anyone laugh?
You give them occasion too, Bessie.
Naturally, after 10 months cooped up sick in this jerkwater town, I'm not the radiant creature I once used to be.
Forget that radiant creature and come down to earth!
Drag me down if you can!
I also talked to the doctor. He was shocked when I mentioned how much you've been running around. I mentioned the x-ray pictures. They're not too good.
What did he say about them?
He said the tissue can heal if you give him a chance.
I'm restless. I have to go out. I can't stay in all the time.
Your energy's feverish, Bessie. You feel like doing more than you're fit for.
I can't just sit here and wait for something to happen. Polish my nails and curl my hair and wait for Christ's second coming. Is that what you and the doctor would recommend for me?
No, Bessie.
I'm glad of that.
Vernon is...
Yes, Vernon is. And that's absolutely all.
I believe he would still marry you if you came to your senses.
Vernon does not represent the future I planned for myself.
I remember you said the same thing 10 years ago.
Well, it's still true.
There's quite a difference between the future and the past.
I know that.
The past keeps getting bigger and bigger at the future's expense.
We drove into Meridian and bought a copy of Billboard. It has my ad in it. Look here, listen to this. At Liberty.
Yes, at Liberty.
Leeds, ingenues, 27, blonde, attractive. 5'2", 114 pounds. Singing, dancing specialties. Quick study, versatile, excellent wardrobe. Right wire, Miss Gloria Lagreen, Blue Mountain. Blue Mountain, Mississippi. How do you like it?
It's full of misrepresentations.
No, it is not.
It is. Can't you even distinguish between a truth and a lie? Bessie, you're not 27, you're 32.
I don't look
Oh,
it.
you do.
Nobody says I do.
Why should they? Shout it across the street at you?
You want to destroy my confidence. make me feel utterly hopeless. I've had bad times, no breaks like everybody in show business, but I'm not through. Do you think? Oh, so you think I am? You sit there on that old threadbare sofa night after night, waiting there for me like Mrs. Doomsday in person. Honest to God, your eyes! They're like tape measures taking my size for a coffin. But I'll cheat you out of it, though.
Bessie!
Don't Bessie
You're
me!
sick and you're drunk. Your face is burning with fever. Look at your dress, how it's torn.
Oh, what if it is? I don't care. Where is it torn?
Seam was ripped out at the waist.
Oh, that can be mended.
Yes. But other things can't.
Everything can be mended. It's only a matter of time.
Ah, such sublime optimism.
Sure. When people are starving, they take optimism and stuff it into their stomachs. Like water, like grass. Gives the illusion of having had a big dinner. I'm not discouraged. I never will be discouraged. Driving home in the rain, I thought to myself that
tomorrow you'd be laid up?
No.
What did you think?
That tomorrow I'd be cast for a marvelous part in a Broadway production. You see, I'm an artist, Mother. I want to cry out. Don't stifle the passion in me.
What kind of expression is that?
A cry from the soul. Weatherbird says the rain will continue forever.
Put that window down.
No.
You're exposing your chest.
To think I was born in this place. Blue Mountain, Mississippi. Where did they get the mountain from? It's flat as a board. But Christ in Chicago, they certainly picked the right color.
There's actually one light still burning. Upstairs with the Bassetts.
Mrs. Bassett is dying. I might have known it. Death is the only thing they'd leave the lights on for in this fabulous city. There was only one boy here that I ever liked, and that was Red Allison, Mother.
Fell off the back of a freight car and lost both his legs.
Better than what I lost.
Yes. What did you lose?
Wings on my dancing shoes.
You're talking absurdly, Bessie.
I lost them not all at once, but gradually. They melted away in the sun like that Greek boys who wanted to fly so badly. Or maybe it was the rains they melted away in. I don't remember.
You're running a temperature.
Red and I had a club composed of 2 members, him and me. We invented the rebel yell. Yes, and a constitution. The first rule in it was never to stop moving forward. Poor Red. He's broken the rule.
I wouldn't be joking about a thing like that. A wild, irresponsible boy. The end he came to was tragic.
But we used to swim jaybird together at Sykeston's Creek.
Did you indeed?
Oh, nothing was wrong about it. We were just kids. I went to Cheyenne when I heard. He was already dead. I was 10 minutes too late. They'd pulled the sheet over his head. It wasn't quite long enough, though. His hair stuck out as loud as the 4th of July. It was sort of impertinent looking. Congratulations, I said. You don't need legs any longer.
Who'd you say that to?
Nobody. Myself. I practiced my dance routine this morning at the Elk Social Hall. My wind's kind of bad, but otherwise I'm okay.
You can't expect a complete return to health, Bessie.
Can't I?
No. You've had a hemorrhage, Bessie. The tissue can heal, but you
Stop it! Stop it, Mother! There is only one lie contained in that advertisement. At liberty. That's the lie. I am not at liberty. I am caught in a trap.
So am I.
Oh, but I'm not discouraged. No. It's just that I haven't had such good luck to brag about lately.
Yes?
Neither have I.
That cramping around, it keeps me
think I'm getting any sleep, do you?
Quiet, you wake the kid up.
The kid. What's more important, him sleeping or me? Who brings home the paycheck, me or the kid?
I'll get up and fix you a cup of hot milk. That'll quiet you down, maybe. Quit that driving around. Except beer drinking makes gas in your stomach and keeps you from sleeping.
Oh, I had 2 glasses right after dinner.
2 of them 26 ounces. Can't you sit still a minute?
Nah, I feel like I gotta be moving.
Maybe you got high blood pressure.
Nah, I got a wild hair, you know? This place gives me the jitters. It's too damn close in here. You can't go more than 6 steps in any direction without coming smack up against another wall. I'd like to pick up my axe and swing straight into that wall.
Moody!
Bet I could smack clean through it in a couple of licks.
Why didn't I marry an ape and go live in the zoo?
I don't know.
Sit down and drink that. Know what time it is? 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock, huh? Yeah, soon old factory whistle be blowing. Old Dutchman be standing there with his hands on his little pot belly watching them punching their cards. Hi there, Mooney, he says. Late again, huh? What do you think this is, maybe an afternoon tea? You know, that's his joke. Every Dutchman's got one joke that he keeps on plugging at, and that's his. Every morning, the same damn thing.
Yeah? Well, it...
To say, you seen them stars last night, Mooney? How many stars was there last night? How many stars was there last night, Mooney?
Put that thing back down. I ain't got a stitch of clothes on under this.
I'll say to him, sure, I seen him last night, but not like they was in Ontario. Not by a long shot, mister. Grease bubbles. That's what they look like most from down here. Way up in the north.
The North Woods. Put that thing back down.
Okay.
You act like a crazy man. Honest to Jesus, you do.
Would that give the Dutchman a laugh?
What would?
He'll go all over the plant, tell the boys what Mooney said this morning. Said he'd seen the stars last night, but not like they was in Ontario when he was chopping down the big timber.
Yes, you'll give him a swell impression when you talk to that kind. I'm dog tired.
You ever seen the St. Lawrence River?
No, I've seen wet diapers for so long.
That's what I'll ask the Dutchman. I'll ask him if he's ever seen the St. Lawrence River.
What would you ask him that for?
She's big, see? I'll tell him she's big and blue as the sky is, and the way she flows is straight north. You ever hear of that, Jane? A river that floats straight north?
No.
Only river I ever known that floats straight north.
Emma says a drop of chloroform will keep his bowels from running off like that. I think I'll try that
Oh,
next time.
we was talking about it one night, and Spook says it's because the Earth is curved down that way toward the Arctic Circle.
What?
That's why she flows straight north.
Who cares?
Nah, the Dutchman don't either. That's what makes it funny. I'll tell him she's big. Damn big. And they call her the Lake of 1,000 Islands.
He'll tell you you're crazy. He'll tell you to go and jump in it.
Sure he will. That's what makes it funny. I'll tell him she's big and blue as the sky is, with firs and pines and tamaracks on both sides, filling up the whole god beautiful air with... Smell of hot milk, huh? Wouldn't that give the Dutchman a laugh? He'll go all over the plant and tell the boys that Mooney must have his little hot milk at night before he goes bye-bye with the Sandman.
Louise Krause's husband commenced saying such things, and they called out the ambulance squad. Right now, he's in a straitjacket in the psychopathic ward, and when Louise went to visit him, he didn't remember who she was even. Dementia. Precox, they called it. Mooney! What you doing slopping good milk on the floor, you big milk?
Hot milk, huh?
You and your kid, what a mess you both are. No wonder they make fun of you down at the plant. You're crazy. Yes, crazy is the only word to describe your actions.
Crazy, huh? Sure them apes think I'm nuts. I'll tell you why. It's because I got some original ideas about some things.
Yeah, you're so stinking original, it ain't even funny.
Other guys, you know how it is. They don't care. They eat, they drink, they sleep with their woman, and the sun keeps rising, and on Saturday night they get paid. But they got kids to grow up and take the places, to eat, to drink, to sleep with their woman and get paid on Saturday night. But me, my God, Jane, I want something more than just that.
What more do you want, you poor fool? There ain't nothing more than just that. Of course, if he was rich and could afford a big house and a couple of limousines...
You don't even get what I'm aiming at, Jane. You never could get it. It's something that ain't contagious.
I'm glad for that. I'd rather have smallpox.
I found a guy once that did. An old duck up on the river. Got his back hurt one night, couldn't work. Was waiting to be shipped home. He said, "Sure, you ain't satisfied. Me neither. We want something more than what this life ever has to offer us, kid."
It gets what you can get.
Oh, I don't know about that. Sometimes I look at my hands and I look, but God, they look so damn funny.
You look at your hands, that's such crap.
They're so kind of empty and useless. You get what I mean? I feel like I ought to be doing something with these two hands of mine other than what I'm doing right now, running bolts through the everlasting chain.
Try holding this in them wonderful hands. Mop that milk up off the floor.
And sometimes I think it ain't my hands that are empty. Something else inside me, that is.
Yeah, it's probably your brain. Will you get that milk swabbed up?
It's already swabbed. Mooney's a free agent. He don't give a damn what anyone thinks. Live and die, says Mooney. That's all there is to it.
Believe me, if I'd have known you'd turn out this way, I'd have kept my old job. I'd have said to Mr. O'Connor, "Sure, go ahead and get me that chinchilla coat."
Sure you would. I know it, sweetheart.
So good of a girl trying to keep herself straight. The way things turn out, a good proposition like Mr. O'Connor's would be the best thing. No, I had such delusions about you. You talked so swell that first time we met.
Lots of waters run under the bridge since then, Jane.
Yeah.
When was that, Jane? How long ago was that?
10 months. It seems 10 years.
10 months. How old's the kid? 1 month? Exactly.
You've
1
got a
month?
nerve to say that, as if it was me that insisted that
No,
you
it was
even...
nature got a hold of us both that night, Jane. Paradise dance hall down on the waterfront. You remember? You had on a low-cut dress. You was real pretty then. Your hair was frizzed up in 1,000 or so little curls, just that I could barely poke my little finger through.
Yeah, I used to have it done every Saturday night.
Yeah, that's how it was. Them curls and the red silk dress. It was nature got a hold of us both that night, Jane.
What do you mean by that?
The way you pressed up against me when we was dancing, that was nature, wasn't it, Jane? And when they played Roses of Picardy and the lights was turned out, we was dancing real slow. We was almost standing still. Your breath was so warm on my neck. So warm. You had on a kind of perfume.
Perfume? Oh, yes, narcissus perfume.
Yes, narcissus perfume, that's right. And, what was it, Jane, that you whispered in my ear?
Me whispered. It was you that whispered, not me.
Was it? Maybe it was. It don't matter, though. The way you danced was enough. Anyhow, I got hooked.
Hooked? Hooked? You dare say
Yes, I
such...
was hooked, all right. Low-cut dress, little curls, and a low-cut dress, making me think that holding you in my arms and waltzing around a 2-bit arch acre was better than holding an axe up in my hands up in the North Woods. But don't mean I'm sorry about it exactly.
How'd you mean it then? I'd like to know.
I don't know. I don't know. People say things. Things change. What does it mean? I don't know. It just seems to me like a crazy man, deaf, dumb, and blind, could have put together a better world than this. Let's get out of it, honey.
Out of it? What do you mean?
Just chuck it all, the whole damn thing, that's what.
You mean kill ourselves?
Well, no, I don't want to die. I want to live. Ditch this lousy town, this smoke, the whistle, plants, factories, buildings. You get caught in them and you can never find your way out. So break away quick while you can, where there's some space to swing an axe in and some time to swing it. Oh, God, Jane, don't you see?
Yes, you mean hop a freight train.
Sure, if that's what you want. Tell the Dutchman goodbye. Tell him to kiss my Aunt Fan.
Me with the baby and the infection of the breast. You with your axe. We'll spend Christmas in a boxcar,
You
won't
bet.
we?
Me with my axe will chop away through this world.
What a joke. What a lovely scream that is.
A joke, huh? Who said anything about a joke?
Mooney, my great big wonderful man. He'll chop away through this world.
Make fun of me, huh?
Mooney, they call him. Down at the planets, Mooney this, Mooney that. All of them making fun of my man, and he's so damn dumb he don't even know it. They got your number? The Dutchman's got your number? You're just a stargazer. You want to set up your tent and tell fortunes. You with your axe. It wasn't so funny. I cry, I could cry. You with your actual, you could cut away through this world. Couldn't even chop down this kid's Christmas tree. Had to buy one at the dime store. And that horse, that's the best one. Buys a $5 hobby horse when we ain't even got enough money to pay the hospital bill.
I lied to you, Jane. I paid $10.50 for this little horse. It was worth more than that.
Worth more?
Sure it was.
Buys a $10.50 hobby horse for a month-old baby. They
I
love
had one of
people.
these things when I was a kid.
Hey, you must have got thrown off and it landed on your head.
Nah. Dad got drunk one night and bought one at a junk shop. Mother, she felt like you did, but me, I was crazy about it. Him and me both, we got on the horse. Him in the back, me in the front, and we sang Ride a Cock Horse to Danbury Cross.
Oh my God. Now I know where you got it from. He was a lunatic too.
Nah, he was smart. He run out on us.
Run out on you? Well, it's not surprising.
Never heard of him since.
Well, he probably got what was coming for him.
Better than what I got.
What you got?
A skinny yellow cat, that's what I got.
God ought to strike you down dead for
Yeah,
saying
well, I'll
things like
say
that.
it again. A skinny yellow cat!
Mooney, stop! Stop!
Too soft. I'm leaving you now, Jane. You hear me? I'm checking out. Tell the Dutchman to give you my pay. Owes me 3 days. Time and a half for Saturday. Good old axe, huh? Nice and sharp still. Anyhow, I'm leaving you now, Jane. A man's gotta live his own life. Cut his own way through the woods somehow.
Mooney, you wouldn't walk down on me, honey? Me with the baby and my infection of the breast and no money or nothing?
4 bits. Tobacco money. Now you got the whole works, so goodbye.
Wait, there's something you gotta take with you.
I got all I want.
Just wait, you're all wrapped up.
What the hell are you?
You're a kid, Mooney. Go along now, the two of you. Me, I can't be bothered with no brats. I gotta get my old job back. Mr. O'Connor would give me my old job back. Sure he will. You two run along now. You can go hop a freight train and spend Christmas in a boxcar. Maybe you'll find your own man together. You'll have a swell time singing Rotting Cock Horse.
Oh, another one of her lousy tricks. Shut up! Mooney's kid don't cry. Nah, Mooney's kid don't cry. Grows up and swings a big axe like his daddy. Cuts his own way through the woods somehow. Here. Look at the hobby horse. Santa Claus bought it for Mooney's kid. See how, look how shiny it is. $10.50 it cost. Now what are you crying for? Daddy ain't going nowhere. Daddy was only fooling.
Won't you come in? Thank you. You're from out of town. Oh, yes. We're all the way from Milwaukee. We've come for Mardi Gras, my husband and I. Oh, this poor little bird in such a tiny cage. Oh, it's much too small to keep a canary in.
It isn't a live canary.
No, it's stuffed. Oh. Winston is out there dilly-dallying on the street, afraid he'll miss the parade. The parade comes by here, don't it?
Yes, unfortunately it does.
I noticed your sign at the door. Is it true that you have one of Lord Byron's love letters?
Yes.
How very interesting. How did you get it?
It was written to my grandmother, Irene Marguerite de Pomvent.
How very interesting. Where did she meet Lord Byron?
On the steps of the Acropolis in Athens.
How very, very interesting. I didn't know that Lord Byron was ever in Greece.
Lord Byron spent the final years of his turbulent life in Greece.
He was exiled from England
Yes, he went into voluntary exile from England.
because of scandalous gossip in the regent's court.
Yes, involving his half-sister.
It was false, completely.
It was never confirmed.
He was a passionate man, but not an evil man.
Morals are such ambiguous matters, I think.
Won't the lady behind the curtains come in?
You'll have to excuse her. She prefers to stay out.
Oh, I see. What was Lord Byron doing in Greece, may I ask?
Fighting for freedom!
Yes, Lord Byron went to Greece to join the forces that fought against the infidels.
He gave his life in defense of the universal cause of freedom.
What was that, did she say?
He gave his life in defense of the universal cause of freedom.
Oh, how very interesting.
Also, he swam the Hell's Pond
Yes.
and burned the body of the poet Shelley, who was drowned in a storm in the Mediterranean with a volume of Keats in his pocket.
Pardon?
And burned the body of the poet Shelley, who was drowned in a storm on the Mediterranean with a volume of Keats in his pocket.
Oh, how very, very interesting indeed. I'd like so much to have my husband hear it. Do you mind if I step out for a moment to call him in?
Please do.
Winston! Winston!
Watch them carefully. Keep a sharp eye on them.
Yes, be still.
Winston, remove that cap. Sit down on the sofa. These ladies are going to show us Lord Byron's love letter.
Shall I proceed?
Oh, yes. This is my husband, Mr. Tutwiler.
How do you do?
I am Mrs. Tutwiler.
Of course. Please keep your seat.
He's been celebrating a little.
Ask him to please be careful.
Huh?
This lady was telling us how her grandmother happened to meet Lord Byron in Italy, wasn't it?
No.
In Greece, in Athens, on the steps of the Acropolis. We've mentioned that twice, I believe. Ariadne, you may read them a passage from the journal first.
Yes.
But please be careful what you choose to read.
Like many other young American girls of that day and this, my grandmother went to Europe.
The year before she was going to be presented to society.
How old was she?
16. Barely 16. She was very beautiful, too. Please show her the picture. Show these people the picture. It's in the front of the journal.
Oh, what a lovely young girl. Don't you think it resembles Agnes a little?
Huh?
Watch out. Watch out, Ariana. You'll have to watch that man. I believe he's been drinking. I do believe he's been.
What's she saying back there?
Winston, be quiet.
Near the end of her tour, my grandmother and her aunt went to Greece to study the classic remains of the oldest civilization.
The oldest European civilization.
It was an early morning in April of the year 1820.
27.
Yes. In my grandmother's journal, she mentions that.
Read it. Read it. Read it.
Yes, please read it to us.
I'm trying to find the place, if you'll just be patient.
Certainly, excuse me. Winston.
Ah, here it is.
Be careful. Remember where to stop, Ariadne.
We set out early that morning to inspect the ruins of the Acropolis. I know I shall never forget how extraordinarily pure the atmosphere was that morning. It seemed as though the world were not very old, but very, very young, almost as though the world had been newly created. There was a taste of earliness in the air, a feeling of freshness, exhilarated my senses, exalted my spirit. How shall I tell you, dear diary, the way the sky looked? It was almost as though I had moistened the tip of my pen in a shallow bowl full of milk, so delicate was the blue in the dome of the heavens. The sun was barely up yet. A tentative breeze disturbed the ends of my scarf, the plumes of the marvelous hat which I had bought in Paris, and thrilled me with pride whenever I saw them reflected. The papers that morning, we read them over our coffee before we left the hotel, had spoken of possible war, but it seemed unlikely, unreal. Nothing was real indeed, but the spell of golden antiquity and rose-colored romance that breathed from this fabulous city.
Skip that part. Get on to where she meets him.
Yes, out of the tongues of ancients, the lyrical voices of many long-ago poets who once dreamed of the world of ideals, who had in their hearts the pure and absolute image of...
Skip that. Slip down to where?
Yes, here. Do let us manage without any more interruptions. The carriage came to a halt at the foot of the hill, and my aunt, not being too well,
She had a sore throat that morning.
preferred to remain with the driver while I undertook the rather steep climb on foot. As I ascended the long and crumbling flight of the old stone steps, I could...
Yes. Yes, that's the place. Go on, Ariadne.
I could not help observing continually above me a man who walked with a barely perceptible limp.
Yes, Lord Byron.
And as he turned now and then to observe beneath him the lovely panorama.
Actually, he was watching the girl behind him.
Will you please let me finish? I was irresistibly impressed by the unusual nobility and refinement of his features,
The handsomest man that ever walked the earth.
the strength and grace of his throat like that of a statue, the classic outlines of his profile, the sensitive lips and the slightly dilated nostrils, the dark lock of hair that fell down over his forehead in such a way that
Skip that part. It goes on for pages.
When he had reached the very summit of the Acropolis, he spread out his arms in a great magnificent gesture, like a young god. Now, thought I to myself, Apollo has come to earth in modern dress.
Go on. Skip that. And on to where she meets him.
Fearing to interrupt his poetic trance, I slackened to my pace and pretended to watch the view. I kept my look thus carefully averted until the narrowness of the steps compelled me to move close by him.
Of course, he pretended not to see she was coming.
Then finally, I faced him.
Yes.
Our eyes came together.
Yes, that's the part.
A thing which I don't understand had occurred between us. A flush as of recognition swept through my whole being, suffused my...
Yes, that's the part.
Pardon me, he exclaimed. You have dropped your glove. And indeed, to my surprise, I found that I had, and as he returned it to me, his fingers ever so slightly pressed the cups of my palms.
Yes.
Believe me, dear Daphne, I became quite faint and breathless. I almost wondered if I could continue my lonely walk through the ruins. Perhaps I stumbled, perhaps I swayed a little. I leaned for a moment against the side of a column. The sun seemed terribly brilliant, it hurt my eyes. Close behind me, I heard that voice again, almost as though I could feel his breath on me.
Stop there. That will be quite enough.
Oh, is that all?
There's a great deal more that's not to be read to people.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'll show you the letter.
how nice. I'm dying to see it. Winston, do sit up.
Watch out! Watch out, that woman can't open the letter.
No, please, you mustn't. The contents of the letter are strictly private. I'll hold it over here at a little distance so you can see the writing.
Not too close. She's holding up her glasses.
Only a short while later, Byron was killed.
How did he die?
He was killed in action, defending the cause of freedom.
When my grandmother received the news of Lord Byron's death and battle, she retired from the world and remained in complete seclusion for the rest of her life.
How dreadful. I think that was foolish of her.
You don't understand. When a life is completed, it ought to be put away. It's like a sonnet. When you've written the final couplet, why go on any further? You only destroy the part that's already written.
Read them the poem, the sonnet your grandmother wrote to the memory of Lord Byron.
Would you be interested?
We'd adore it, truly.
It's called Enchantment.
Ah.
Un saison enchanté I mused, beguiled seemed time herself, her erstwhile errant ways briefly forgotten. She stayed here and smiled, caught in a net of blue and golden days.
Not blue and golden and azure days.
Caught in a net of golden and azure days. But I lacked wit to see how lightly shewn were time and dew, to vagrancy so used that by the touch of one October moon, from summer's tranquil spell, you might be loosed.
Think you love is writ on my soul with chalk, to be washed off by a few parting tears? And you know not what slow step I walk, barren way of those heavenly years, my life of vanished interlude, a shell, whose walls was your first kiss and last farewell.
What's that? What's that? The parade?
Come on, Mama. You're gonna miss it.
We usually accept, you understand? A small sum of money, just anything helps if you can spare.
Stop him, he's gone outside.
Please, $1.
50 cents.
Winston! Winston!
Oh my goodness.
Winston!
He's disappeared in the crowd.
Winston! Winston!
Excuse me.
Winston! Winston!
Oh my goodness gracious, he's off again.
We usually accept a small sum of money for the display of the letter. Just anything you happen to think you can give. As a matter of fact, it's all we have to live on.
$1.
50 cents.
Heavenly days, goodbye.
Canae!
Gone without paying.
Yes, the canae.
Ariadna, my letter. You've torn my letter. My father's letter is lying on the floor.
Hello? Who are you?
Don't talk to me till I fall off. Take my crazy doll, will you?
Yeah.
I don't want to break her when I fall. I don't think I can stay on much longer. Do you?
Nah.
I'm practically off right now. No, don't touch me. It's no fair helping. You've got to do it all by yourself. Got him wobbling. I don't know what's made me so nervous. You see that water tank way back yonder?
Yeah?
That's where I started from. This is the furthest I've ever gone without once falling off. I mean, it will be if I can manage to stick on until the next telephone pole. Oh, here I go.
Hurt yourself.
Skin my knee a little. Glad I didn't put my silk stockings on.
Spit on it. That takes this thing away.
Okay.
That's animals' medicine, you know. They always lick their wounds.
I know. The principal damage was done to my bracelet, I guess. I knocked out one of the diamonds. Where'd it go?
You never could find it in all them cinders.
I don't know. It had a lot of shine.
It wasn't a genuine diamond.
How do you know?
Well, I just imagined it wasn't. Because if it was, you wouldn't be walking along an old railroad track with a beat-up doll on a piece of a rotten banana.
Oh, I won't be so sure. I might be peculiar or something. You never can tell. What's your name?
Tom.
Mine's Billy. We both got boy names.
How did that happen?
I was expected to be a boy, but I wasn't. They had one girl already, Alba. She was my sister. Why aren't you at school?
I thought it was going to be windy, so I could fly my kite.
What made you think that?
Because the sky was so white.
Is that a sign?
Yeah.
I know. It looked like everything been swept off with a broom, don't it?
Yeah.
It's perfectly white. It's white as a clean piece of paper.
Uh-huh.
But there isn't a wind.
Nah.
It's up too high for us to feel it. It's way, way up in the attic sweeping the dust off the furniture up there.
Uh-huh. Why ain't you at school?
I graduated 2 years ago this winter.
What grade was you in?
5A?
Miss Preston.
Yep. She used to think my hands was dirty until I was explained it was cinders from falling off the railroad track so much.
She's pretty strict.
Oh, no. She's just disappointed she didn't get married. Probably never had an opportunity, poor thing. So she's to teach 5A for the rest of her natural life. They started teaching algebra, and I didn't give a goddamn what that stood for, so I quit.
You'll never get an education walking the railroad tracks.
And you won't get one flying a red kite neither. Besides,
What?
what a girl needs to get along is social training. I learned all that from my sister Albert. She had a a wonderful popularity with the railroad men.
Train engineers?
Engineers, firemen, conductors, even the freight superintendent. We run a boarding house for railroad men. She was, I guess you might say, the main attraction. Beautiful? Jesus, she looked like a movie star.
Your sister?
Yeah. One of them used to bring her regular, after each run, a great big heart-shaped red silk box of assorted chocolates and nuts and hard candies. Marvelous?
Yeah.
You know where I was now?
Memphis?
No,
New Orleans?
no.
St. Louis?
You'll never guess.
Well, where is she then?
She's in the bone orchard.
What?
A bone orchard cemetery graveyard! Don't you understand English?
Sure. That's pretty tough.
You don't know the half of it, buddy. We used to have some high times at Big Yellow House.
I bet you did.
Musical instruments going all the time.
Instruments? What kind?
Piano, Vitrola, Hawaiian steel guitar. Everyone played on something. But now it's awful quiet. You don't hear a sound from there, do you?
No. Is it empty?
Except for me. They got a big sign stuck up.
What does it say?
This property is condemned.
You ain't still living there.
Uh-huh.
What happened? Where did everyone go?
Mama run off with the brakeman on the CNEI. After that, everything went to pieces. You hear that? That's the Cannonball Express. Fastest thing on wheels between St. Louis, New Orleans, and Memphis. My old man got to jerk.
Where is he now?
Disappeared. I guess I ought to refer his case to real missing persons. The same as he done with Mama when she disappeared. Then there was me and Alba. Till Alba's lungs got affected.
Yeah?
Did you see Greta Garbo and Camille? It played at the Delta Brilliant one time last spring. She did the same when Alba died of lung infection.
Yeah?
Only, it was very beautiful the way she had it, you know? With violins playing and loads of white flowers.
Yeah?
All our lovers come back in a beautiful scene. But all Alba's disappeared.
Yeah.
Like rats from a sinking ship. That's how she used to describe it. It wasn't like the death in the movies.
No?
She says, where's Albert? Where's Clemens? None of them was around. I used to lie to her. I says, they send their regards. They're coming to see you tomorrow. Where's Mr. Johnson, she asked me. He was the freight superintendent, the most important character we've ever had in our rooming house. He's been transferred to Granada, I told her. But wishes to be remembered. She known I was lying.
Yeah?
This here's the payoff, she says. They all run out on me like rats from a sinking ship. Except Cindy.
Who was Cindy?
The one that used to give her the great enormous box of American Beauty chocolates.
Oh.
He remained faithful to her.
Well, that's good.
But she never did care for Sidney. She said his teeth were so decayed he didn't smell good.
Oh.
It wasn't like the death in the movies. When somebody dies in movies, they have violins playing.
But they didn't foul them.
Nah, not even a goddamn Vitrola. They said it didn't agree with the hospital regulations. Always staying around the house,
Your sister?
throwing enormous parties. This was a favorite number. You're the only star in my blue heaven, and you're shining just for me. This is the clothes I got on, inherited from her. Everything Albus is mine, except a solid gold beads.
What happened to them?
That, she never took them off.
Oh.
Also inherited all my sister's beaux. Albert and Clemens, and even the freight superintendent.
Yeah?
They disappeared. Afraid they may get stuck for expenses, I guess, but they turn up again. All of them. Like a bunch of bad pennies. They take me out places at night. I've got to be popular now. To parties and dances and all the railroad affairs. Look at here.
What?
I can do bumps.
Frank Waters said that,
What?
you know,
No what?
you took him inside and danced for him with your clothes off.
Oh. Crazy doll's hand needs washing. I'm scared to wash it though, because the head might come unglued where she had that compound fracture of the skull. I think that most of her brain spilled out. She's been acting silly ever since, saying and doing the most outrageous things.
Why don't you do that for me?
What? Put glue on your compound fracture?
Nah, what you did for Frank Waters.
Because I was lonesome then. And I'm not lonesome now. You can tell Frank Waters that. Tell him I've inherited all my sister's beau. I'll go out with men in responsible jobs. The sky sure is white, ain't it? White as a clean piece of paper. In 5 used to draw pictures. Miss Preston would give us a piece of foolscap and tell us to draw what we please.
What did you draw?
I remember I drawn a picture of my old man getting conked with a bottle. She thought it was good. Miss Preston, she says, look at here. Here's a picture of Charlie Chaplin with a hat on the side of his head. I said, oh no, that's not Charlie Chaplin, that's my father. And that's not a hat, it's a bottle.
Well, what did she say?
Oh well, you can't make a school teacher laugh. The principal used to say there must have been something wrong with my home atmosphere because of the fact that we took in railroad men and some of them slept with my sister.
Did they?
She was the main attraction. The house sure is empty now.
You ain't still living now, are you?
Sure.
By yourself?
Uh-huh. I'm not supposed to be, but I am. The property's condemned, but there's nothing wrong with it. Some county investigator come snooping around yesterday. I recognized her by the shape of her hat. It wasn't exactly what I would call stylish looking.
No?
It looked like something she took off the lid of a stove. Alvin knew lots about style. She had ambitions to be a designer for big wholesale firms in Chicago. She used to submit her pictures. It never worked out.
Well, what did you do about the investigators?
Laid low upstairs, pretended like no one was home.
Well, how do you manage to keep on eating?
Oh, I don't know. You keep a sharp lookout, you see things lying around. This banana, perfectly good for instance, thrown in a garbage pail in the back of Bluebird Cafe.
Miss Preston, for instance.
Oh no, not her. She gives you a piece of white paper, says draw what you please. I remember one time I drawn her a picture of... Oh, but I told you that, huh? Will you give Frank Waters a message?
What?
Tell him the freight superintendent has bought me a pair of kid slippers. Patent. The same as the old ones of Alba's. I'm going to dances with them at Moon Lake Casino. All night I'll be dancing and come home drunk in the morning, and we'll have serenades with all kinds of musical instruments. Trumpets, trombones, and Hawaiian steel guitars. Yeah, and the sky will be wet like this.
Really?
Uh-huh. White as a clean piece of paper. I'll draw pictures on it.
Will you?
Sure.
Pictures of what?
Me dancing. With the freight superintendent. In a pair of patent kid shoes. Yeah, with French heels on them as high as telegraph poles. And they'll play my favorite music.
Your favorite?
Same as Alpha's. You're the only star, my blue heaven. Oh!
What?
I'll wear a corsage.
What's that?
Flowers to pinch your dress out of formal affair. Violets, rosebuds, and lilies of the valleys. And when you come home, it's withered. But you stick them in a bowl of water to freshen them up.
Uh-huh.
That's what Alva done. Cannonball Express!
You think a lot about Alvin, don't you?
Oh, not so much. Now and then. It wasn't like the death in the movies. Her bows disappeared. They didn't have violence planned. I'm going back now.
Well, where to with it?
The water tank
Yeah?
and start all over again. Maybe I'll break some kind of continuous record. Al did once, in a dance marathon in Mobile, across the state line, Alabama. You can tell Frank Waters everything I told you. I don't have time for inexperienced people. I'm going out with popular railroad men. Men with good salaries, too. Don't you believe me?
No. I think you're drawing an awful lot on your imagination.
Well, if I wanted to, I could prove it, but you won't be worth convincing. I'm going to live for a long, long time, like my sister. And when my lungs get affected, I'm going to die like she did. Maybe not like in the movies with violins playing, but with my pearl earrings on and my solid gold beads from Memphis.
Yes?
And then I guess
What?
someone will inherit all my bow. Sky sure is white.
It sure is.
White as a clean piece of paper. I'm going back now.
So long.
Yeah, so long. You're the only star I will ever have, and the sun is up for me.
They say every 20 minutes somebody in America kills himself.
Who says?
The newspapers,
How the hell do they know?
they've got statistics.
My God, they've got statistics for everything, haven't they?
That's rather often, don't you think? For people to be killing themselves?
No, not often enough, really, when you think of the number and kinds of people there are.
You're such a cynic, George.
Oh no, just a realist.
Call it what you wish. I think you're a very cold-blooded proposition.
I belong to a cold-blooded generation. The generation of fish. We sink or swim and nobody gives a damn which.
Thank God I was born with a set of decent emotions.
Emotions are troublesome things.
Without them, life would just be a set of automatic reflexes.
What's wrong with that? Damn convenient, I think. Saves one a lot of needless stewing. Have a drink?
No, thank you. I've had my quota tonight.
I can't say they've done you much good.
I'm still conscious if that's what you mean.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Will you please leave that radio off?
Why?
I've got a headache.
Take an aspirin.
It's not that kind of a headache.
What kind is it then?
The kind that goes on and never stops.
Might I suggest a remedy?
Yes, if you only would.
You'll find my revolver in the left-hand drawer of the shift room. Results guaranteed.
Perhaps I will surprise you by using it sometime.
Nothing would surprise me.
No, I guess nothing would. Are you really alive?
I think so.
But you're not absolutely sure of it?
One can't be too sure of anything these days.
Do you have sensations?
Yes.
Like this?
Yes.
What do you like, George?
The faint, spicy fragrance of a carnation. Good whiskey, and...
And being a true-year wife!
Yes, that most of all.
You're quite frank about it.
Why shouldn't I be?
You might wish to spare my feelings.
Your feelings are yours. Not mine.
You loved me once.
Did I?
Yes, once.
How do you know?
You told me that you did.
Perhaps I was lying.
If you were, you ought to be hanged for it.
Why?
Because I believed you!
You were much too credulous in your younger days.
I guess I never belonged to this generation of fish which you're so proud of representing.
No, my dear, you're a hopeless anachronism.
I thank God for that if it means having red blood in my veins.
Do you?
Yes.
Even though it makes you miserable?
Yes. Even though it makes me miserable.
Ah, well.
I can't live without something to care for.
And care for something.
I haven't gotten anything.
Get something.
What?
A lover, perhaps.
That sort of thing is disgusting.
You see how contradictory you are? You say you can't live without something to care for. But when I suggest something, you say that's disgusting.
I want something real. I don't want any trumped-up affair.
After all, that's your problem. I can't solve it for you.
Will you leave that radio off?
No!
It's driving me to distraction.
I like this orchestra.
You know I can't stand jazz.
Oh, I love it. It's America, my dear. Our native land.
Maybe yours, not mine.
It's the goldfish bowl we swim in.
I hate it.
Because of its barbarism.
It isn't barbaric. It's ultra-civilized. It's neurotic.
So is America. So am I. So are you. We're all us inmates of a vast asylum, bordered on the north by the Arctic Ocean, on the south by the Straits of Magellan, on the east by the...
Stop!
Your nerves, my dear.
Yes. My nerves.
You'd better go to your room and sleep it off.
Yes, sleep it off. That's good.
Would you mind leaving me a cigarette?
Here.
Thanks.
Is there anything else I can do for you, George?
Nothing.
Are you quite sure?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
Who is at the door, please?
Me.
Mrs. Dwyer, come in. I was just going to drop by your room to speak to you about something.
Yeah, what about?
Mrs. Dwyer, I'm sorry to say, but I just don't find these cockroaches to be the most desirable roommates.
Cockroaches, huh?
Yes, precisely. Now, I have had very little experience with cockroaches in my life, but the few that I've seen before have been the pedestrian kind, the kind that walk. These, Mrs. Dwyer, appear to be flying cockroaches. I was shocked. In fact, I was literally stunned when one of them took off the floor and started to whiz through the air, around and around in a circle, just missing my face by barely a couple of inches. Mrs. Dwyer, I sat down on the edge of that bed and wept. I was just so shocked and disgusted. Imagine flying cockroaches, something I'd never dreamed
I may as well tell you that I have a horror of roaches. Even the old-fashioned pedestrian kind. And as for the type that flies, I'm going to stay on here. These roaches have got to be gotten rid of and gotten rid of at once.
Now, how am I going to stop them flying cockroaches from coming in through the windows? But that's not
I don't know how, Mrs. Laya, but there certainly must be a method. All I know is that I will not sleep here one more night. If I woke up in the middle of the night and I found him on my bed, I'd have a convulsion. I swear to goodness, I'd simply die of convulsions.
If you'll excuse me for saying so, Mrs. Hardshell Moore, you're much more likely to die from over-drinking than cockroach convulsions. What's this here? Lost for lotion. Well,
I use it to take the old polish off my nails.
very fastidious, yes. What do you mean? There ain't an old house in the quarter that don't have roaches.
But not in such enormous quantities, do they? Tell you, this place is crawling with them.
It ain't as bad as all that. And by the way, you ain't yet paid me the rest of this week's rent. I don't want to get you off the subject of roaches, but nevertheless, I want to collect that money.
I'll pay you the rent as soon as you exterminate these roaches.
You'll have to pay me the rent right away or get out.
I intend to get out unless these roaches get out.
Then get out then if we're just talking about it.
You must be out of your mind. I can't get out right now.
Then what did you mean about roaches?
I meant what I said about roaches. They are not, in my opinion, the most desirable roommates.
Okay, don't bring with them. Pack your stuff and move where they don't have roaches.
Oh, so you mean you insist upon having roaches?
No, I insist upon having the rent you owe me.
Right at the moment, that is out of the question.
Out of the question isn't.
Yes, and I will tell you why. The important payments I received from the man who was taking care of the rubber plantation have not been forwarded yet. I've been expecting them to come in for several weeks now, but in a letter I received this morning, it seems like there's been a little misunderstanding with last year's taxes, and I just don't
Oh,
know.
now stop it. I've heard enough of that goddamn rubber plantation. The Brazilian rubber plantation. You think I've been in this business 17 years without learning nothing about your kind of woman?
What is the implication in that remark?
I suppose the men you have in here tonight coming to discuss the Brazilian rubber plantation.
You must be out of your mind to say a thing like that.
I hear what I hear, and I know what's going on.
I know you spy. I know you listen at doors.
I never spy, and I never listen at doors. The first thing a landlady in the French Quarter learns is not to see and not to hear, but only collect your money. As long as that comes in okay, I'm blind, I'm deaf, I'm dumb. But as soon as it stops, I collect my hearing and also my sight and also the use of my voice. If necessary, I go up to the phone and call the chief of police, who happens to be an in-law of my sister's. I heard last night that argument over money.
What argument? What money?
He shouted so loud I had to shut the front window to keep the noise from carrying out on the streets. I heard no mention of any Brazilian plantation, but plenty of other things were playing you first in that little midnight conversation you had. Lost for lotion, to take the polish off nails. Am I my infancy, am I? That's on par with the wonderful rubber plantation.
No! Stop!
Oh, it's you.
Stop persecuting this woman.
The second Mr. Shakespeare enters the scene.
I heard your demon howling in my sleep.
Sleep? Ho, I think what you mean is your drunken stupor.
I rested because of my illness. Have I no right?
Illness? Alcoholic. Don't try to pull that beautiful wool over my eyes. Now I repeat for your benefit what I just said to this woman. I'm done with deadbeats. Now is that plain to you? Completely fed up with all you quarter-rats, half-breeds, drunkards, degenerates, who try to get by on promises, lies, delusions?
Please stop your shrieking. It's not necessary.
You with your Brazilian rubber plantation. That coat of arms on the wall that you got from the junk shop. The lady who sold it told me, yes, one and a half was the title lady. The lady lost her lotion, there's the title.
Stop badgering this unfortunate little woman. Is there no mercy left in the world anymore? What has become of compassion and understanding? Where have they all gone to? Where's God? Where's Christ? What if there is no Brazilian rubber plantation?
Oh, no, I tell you, there is.
What if there is no rubber king in her life? There ought to be rubber kings in her life. Is she to be blamed because it is necessary to compensate for the cruel deficiencies of reality by the exercise of a little, what shall I say, God-given imagination?
Oh, no, it's not imagination.
me in the face those half-blown speeches. You with your 780-page masterpiece. Right on a par with the Lady of Larkspur Ocean, as far as the use of imagination is concerned.
Ah. Well now, what if I am? What if there is no 780-page masterpiece in existence? Supposing there is an existence, no masterpiece whatsoever. What of that, Mrs. Wire? But a few, very few, vain scribblings in my old trunk bottom. Suppose I want to be a great artist, but lack the force and power. Suppose my books fell short of the final chapter. Even my verses languish uncompleted. Suppose the curtains of my exalted fancy rose on magnificent dramas, but the house lights darkened before the curtain fell. Suppose all these unfortunate things are true. And suppose that I, stumbling from bar to bar, from drink to drink, till I sprawl at last on the lice-infested mattress of this brothel. Suppose that I, to make this nightmare bearable, for as long as I continue to be the hopeless protagonist of it. Suppose that I ornament, illuminate, glorify it with dreams and fictions and fancies, such as the existence of a 780-page masterpiece, impending Broadway productions, marvelous volumes of verse, in the hands of only publishers waiting for signatures to release them. Suppose I live in this pitiful world of fiction. What good can it do you, good woman, to tear it to pieces? Call it a lie. I tell you this, now listen. There are no lies, but the lies that are stuffed in the mouth by the hard-knuckled hand of need, the cold iron fist of necessity, Mrs. Wire. So I am a liar! Yes, but your world is built on a lie. Your world is a hideous fabrication of lies. Lies! Lies! Now I'm tired, and I've said my say, and I have no money to give you. So go on, leave this woman in peace. Go on, get out, get away!
Tomorrow morning, money or out you go. Both of you, both together. 780-page masterpiece in Brazilian rubber plantation. Baloney.
I know. I suppose there weren't any roaches on the Brazilian rubber plantation.
Oh no. Everything was immaculate, always immaculate. The floors were so bright and clean, they shone like mirrors.
I know. And the windows, I suppose, commanded a very lovely view.
Indescribably lovely.
How far was it from the Mediterranean?
Mediterranean? Only a mile or two.
And on a very clear morning, I dare say, it was possible to distinguish the white chalk cliffs of Dover across the channel.
And very clear weather was, yes. Thank you, Mr.
Chekhov. Anton Pavlovich Chekhov.
Thank you, Mr. Chekhov.
Don't come into the kitchen in your lot dress. Go in front and relax till they get here. Oh, I was carrying jonquils the very first afternoon that I met your father. However, I wouldn't blame that on the flowers. The court trier boy had driven me over to Clarksdale to see old Agnes Hoskins, who just had another stroke and couldn't talk. Oh, it depressed me so to see her in that condition. But on the way back, we passed this field of jonquils, literally thousands of them. I made Dave stop the car, and I got out and gathered not 2 arms full. Dave was annoyed because I wouldn't put them down in the back seat of the car. I used him for a shield when he tried to kiss me. I did not care to be kissed by Dave Couturier. Anyway, when I entered that downstairs hall, there was your father, discovered for the first time, still on the telephone at the foot of the stairs. How much better would it have been if... Still, I wouldn't have had a daughter as pretty as you. If only I'd have married that telephone man who fell in love long distance. Oh, I've still got to mix the dressing for the salmon, change myself, and it's already 5 of 6. Oh, Laura, you're almost as pretty as I used to be. It's early for light, but the light's so lovely on you. You're so slender, Laura. It's better to start out slender, for life does put flesh on you. I'm lucky I can still wear misses. Turn around. Yes, it dips a little, but men don't notice such things. I'll leave it alone. Oh, Laura, you've never looked so pretty. And maybe you'll never look so pretty again. So for once, be on your best behavior. Come out of the shell. Oh, vivacity only counts for so much.
I feel all gone inside.
Laura, why?
You've made such a fuss. Mother, you don't even know him.
He's Tom's best friend at the warehouse. And before I suggested Tom's bringing him home to dinner, I went down and had a look at him.
Oh, Lord.
On the pretext of buying some bedroom slippers. Oh, I like his appearance very, very much. Clean-cut type of boy, studies radio engineering at night school. Impresses me as worth investigation.
Made it seem like you were setting a trap.
All pretty girls are a trap. A pretty trap. And men expect them to be. I was amused when boys came bumbling around, and I had no pangs of conscience when it seemed like one would have the trap sprung on him.
I feel so ashamed of being pushed at strangers.
You wouldn't have to be pushed if you weren't such a shrinking violet of a girl. More old-fashioned than I am. I don't know how you do it, but you're almost 18 and never been out with a boy. Never out with one even. If you're a homely, awkward young girl, that would be natural, Laura. But you're like a young green tree that's beginning to flower, and is it so evil to have somebody look at you?
You make it seem so important. That's why I'm nervous about it.
It may be important. You can never tell. I'm not only the practical member of this family, but the romantic one, too.
What has romance got to do with this boy coming over?
Nothing if you're a nitwit. Nothing if you're just going to sit there with your teeth in your mouth, like the night you did when I took you over to the Young People's League at the church, speaking to nobody so nobody spoke to you. Laura, your sort of prettiness can't be depended on. It might go out as quickly as it came and leave you stranded in this little apartment. I'll put you in business college, worked like a trooper so I could pay the tuition. And what do? Claimed it made you nervous, and so you quit.
I'm always being pushed into something. Something I don't want.
What do you want then? Tell me.
To be left alone. I'd like to live by myself.
2 courses are open to girls in your circumstances. Either they get a business career or they get married. And I've given up on ever getting you a job.
Well, give up on getting me a husband, too.
Fine. I won't live forever to make provisions for you. You'll wind up one of those barely tolerated spinsters who live with their brother's family and eat the crust of humility all their lives. That's the future you cut out for yourself when you take no advantage of anything done to you.
I'm going into my room and I won't come out. I won't come out for dinner. And you can have the gentleman caller yourself.
Fine, stay in that little mousetrap of a room for the rest of your days as far as I'm concerned. I'll make no effort if everything's resisted. I'll call up no more old women at the Home Beautiful, and I'll work in no more dirty boggy basements either. I'll be just as neurotic as you, young lady. Stay and keep my nose in books and let the world pass by. Oh, my heavens, when I'm still in the house dress. Laura, dear, Tom's lost his door, his key again, and you'll have to let them in.
I won't do it. Let them in yourself.
I can't let them in. Just look at me, will you?
Well, I can't either.
Laura Wingfield, I do not intend to answer that door, and that is final. Either you will go and let your brother, Mr. Delaney, in, or that bell will keep on ringing till doomsday, and I'll not budge an inch. You know me well enough to know that I mean it.
I've been crying.
I don't care where you've been. You will go to that door.
Fine. Then get out of sight if you don't want to be seen. And I don't blame you.
You really look like a witch.
That's so, young lady. You serpents too. I have you children to thank for a faded appearance. Making myself a slave, doing menial labor, cooking in a high school cafeteria, and you throw at me such...
If you want me to answer the door, you'll have to let go of my arms.
I don't want you to do anything, ever. Believe me.
I'll let him in, but I won't come to the table. All right, you don't have to break the door now. Did you forget your key?
I lost it.
You'd lose your head if it wasn't fastened on.
Laura, this is Jim.
How do you do?
Hello there. I didn't know Shakespeare had a sister.
Excuse me.
What was the matter?
She's very shy.
Oh, it's unusual to meet a shy girl. She looks a little like you, except she's pretty.
Thanks.
This is a nice little place. Well, it's home.
Look at the paper.
Give me the comic section.
Tom,
Yes?
is that you and Mr. Delaney?
No, Mother, it's Napoleon and Joan of Arc.
Ask the young man if he'd like to wash his hands.
Would you?
I took care of that at the warehouse.
He says his hands aren't dirty, Mother.
All right, well, I'll be right in.
Don't break your neck.
Your mother has a nice voice. Southern.
She's sort of a perennial Southern belle. Hitler's bit off another hunk of Europe. What's funny?
It's Sadie Hawkins Day.
Somebody seems to be having a mighty good laugh in here. This is Mr. Delaney. Oh, no, don't get up. Holy, Mr. Delaney, you're sitting in the straight chair. Oh, Tom, you're such a poor host, sitting Mr. Delaney in a straight chair. You get the comfortable chair. Sit on the sofa. Now, I'm gonna skip formalities and call you...
Jim.
Jim. Oh, I've known so many nice Jims in days gone by. Actually, I never known a Jim that wasn't a darling. So you must be one too. Now tell me all your hopes and dreams, and don't be frightened of me. I know I'm a rattletrap. I have all the audacity in this house. And I'm just greedy for information, just greedy for it. So tell me everything all at once. You work at the warehouse? Oh, I know you do. But what's your position there? The same as Tom's? Oh, no, it's better than Tom's. Tom's told me that. You're a shipping.
Clerk. Yes, a shipping clerk.
Oh, that's nice. You handle shipping. Tom, can you go see if Miss Laura is putting the dinner on the table? You've met Laura, my pretty little daughter.
Oh, she let us in.
You'll have to excuse her for making a late appearance. We have no servant, and thank heavens Laura's more domestic than I was. I was a giddy young thing, always laughing, as pretty as Laura. A little prettier, even if you can believe it.
It's not hard to believe.
Oh, and I was. And I married a handsome young man, a remarkably good-looking man. His picture's there so you can see for yourself. Tom Wingfield I, that gallantly smiling gentleman of the patroller.
Well, he certainly was good looking.
A woman can do no worse than put herself at the mercy of a handsome appearance. Character is what to look for in a man. Sterling qualities, that's what counts in the world. What was I telling you? Oh, yes, Tom Wingfield I, the children's father. He just walked off one morning and didn't come back that night. And don't let anyone tell you a woman deserted with children has a bed of briars. A bed of briars I've lived on. Well, I'm going to tell you all my earthly sorrows when there's so much that's pleasant to talk about. Tom, is Laura getting the dinner on the table?
No, she isn't.
What? Oh, please excuse me, I guess Laura hasn't finished. Dressing, I must see.
See what I mean? A perennial Southern belle.
She can talk.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful, a woman like that.
Would you like to live with her?
Like to? Why not?
Well,
Are you talking about me? Am I the subject of discussion in there? Mr. Delaney, do you think I'm awful? Do you think I'm a... Laura, dear, dinner's nearly ready.
I'm not coming out.
My children compare me to... No, I won't say it. You think they were cruel, and they don't mean to be cruel. Just that I'm of a different generation, a different background. I still belong to the South, to Mississippi, where there was racists living in kindness. I'd have learned to be cold in the northern way, but I guess my children will have to put up with their silly little mother, who they say looks like a witch. Mr. Delaney, do I look like a witch?
What?
A witch? That's what they call me, and I bet you wonder what I've done to deserve such castigation. Well, I'll tell you. I've pushed, I've driven, I've given myself no rest. I've worked as an artist model at the Washington Art School, standing in cruel positions for hours at a time, taken up sewing, worked in dirty bar basements, modeled for matrons dressed in at Famous and Bar. I've hired myself out as a practical nurse to hardle invalid women who pinched and scratched me and made me ashamed to be a human. I've done all of that, which was very bad of me, and for that I look like a witch, and my children tell me I am, and... Dinner is served. Gentlemen, dinner is served. Oh, Jim. I'll take your arm and escort you into dinner, just as if the band was playing and this was a banquet hall. Let's imagine it's a banquet hall, all decorated with palms and beveled glass around the ivory walls. Now, I'll put your arm, you'll sit here. Laura, we're waiting to say grace for you. Tom, you sit at the head of the table. Laura, dinner's nearly ready. Laura's my right-hand bower.
Then what's Shakespeare?
Shakespeare? Oh, you must mean Tom. Only I'm a little upset to hear you call him Shakespeare. That means he's been writing down at the warehouse. He's already lost 5 jobs for not devoting himself to his work. And if he loses this one, I'll give up. Laura, we won't say grace until he comes to the table. We can't say grace until he comes to the table.
Where is my place, please?
Next to our gentleman caller, the place of honor.
Oh, is there room for 2 places on this side of the table?
It's such a tiny table, but we'll make room, don't worry. We just have to be chummy. If our feet get tangled under the table, nobody's gonna think anybody is
Mother,
flirting.
if you'll keep still, I'll say the grace.
Excuse me.
For these and all thy mercies, God's holy name be praised through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Oh, how you raced through it. I'm hungry. How about you all?
I can sure eat something.
Never saw a man that couldn't eat. Oh, Laura, what pretty crystal beads you're wearing. Where did you get them, Laura?
I got them at the 5 and 10 cent store.
I thought surely some rich old man had given them to you. Neither of my children have any humor, despite the fact that I was always laughing as a girl. Laura, sit up straight at the table. Don't hunch over like that. Both of you children, sit up straight. See how straight Mr. Delaney is sitting? I think it's a mark of character, sitting straight at the table. Mr. Delaney, I bet you've had some military training.
No, I haven't yet, Mrs. Wingfield. But from what you see in the papers, it might look like I'll get some pretty soon.
Oh, don't say that. If this country's drawn into another war, I'll just die. Just die.
Don't make rash promises, Mother.
No, I mean it. If Tom had to go off to war...
I don't think Shakespeare would ever get in the army.
No? Why not?
Well, he's the dreamy type. That just wouldn't be useful.
The dreamy type? Oh my goodness. And I so wanted my son to be the real live wire, the go-getter type, not the dreamy type. We could use a wide-awake man in this establishment. Are you wide-awake, Mr. Delaney?
Me? So I'm an old workhorse.
You and I are the workhorses of the world. I'll tell you a secret. I know you all wide awake. I went down and looked at you.
Me? Where?
At the warehouse on the pretext of buying some bedroom slippers. I had Tom point you out. Oh my, how you were working with such application. Well, Tom was walking around so slow, so dreamy, not quite seeming to know where anything was, while you were bumbling around with such assurance.
The way I look at it is...
How do you look at it?
There are 3 types in the world.
Oh, 3? What are they?
1, the workhorses of the world.
Oh?
They do what they're told to do, and at the end of each day, they're given most to feed on, enough to provide energy for tomorrow.
Mr. Delaney, you surprised me a little.
Yeah?
I
What?
mean, a statement like that's so analyzing. But go on, what's type number 2?
Type number 2 is the drivers, the managers of the workhorses and owners of them. They portion out the oats and lock up the stable door when the workday is over. Open it in the morning. I've got this all figured out. But then there is type number 3,
Which type is that?
the dreamy type.
My children?
Shakespeare, for instance. He doesn't fit into either classification. Can't work and he wouldn't drive.
Can't work?
Speaking figuratively,
Oh,
there's quite a number like him. Won't drive and can't be driven. A monkey wrench in the works.
oh my goodness, your reputation.
But Mrs. Wingfield, don't you see? If the works aren't good, then a monkey wrench in them is.
No, I don't see how it is good at all. I think it is awful to fit into such a worthless classification.
So I'm a monkey wrench. Glad to know I've got a definition.
Oh my goodness, a monkey wrench for a son. Have some more potatoes, Miss Delaney.
No, thank you, Mrs. Wingfield.
So what does your father do, Jim?
He owns a retail shoe store in Wyoming.
Shoes! A commodity always in demand! And I presume you'll take over one day.
Oh, no. My heart is set on radio engineering. I feel there's a great day coming for television. It'll be one where the dissatisfied workhorses and the dreamy types can flash to the world original pictures of things and make great changes.
But won't these drivers you speak of flash the pictures?
Not if we muscle in first, the dreamers and I.
Oh, Mr. Delaney, according to what you're saying, you're not the ordinary workhorse nor the dreamy type either.
And that's right, Mrs. Wingfield.
Just what are you then?
A combination. The beginning of an experiment. Dreams plus action, which is the next generation.
Oh, how exciting!
It is, I think. All the world is waiting for the sunrise.
Oh, where was Moses when the lights went out? Do you know the answer to that one, Mr. Delaney?
No, what is the answer?
In the dark. How lucky we have these candles on the table.
Here's a match.
And then I'm going to take a look at the fuse box. Mr. Delaney, can you tell a burnt out fuse when you see one?
Uh-huh.
Tom, did you pay that lot bill?
Why, I think so. I'm not sure.
There we have it. The dreamy type neglected to pay the lot bill.
Shakespeare probably wrote a poem on it.
Mr. Delaney, this isn't a joking matter. There's such a high price for negligence in this world.
Well, maybe the poem will win a $10 prize.
We'll just have candlelight for the rest of the evening.
What's wrong about that?
Nothing except I'm a little out of patience with type number 3. Come on. We'll do the dishes. Laura, you take Mr. Delaney into the living room.
Come on, Mark. Let's go have a look at those old records. Don't suppose you have any Betty Goodman or Woogie Woogie numbers?
I'm afraid not. They're all old records that came with the Victrola.
She's a pretty old timer.
Yes. Father bought it the day before he left with all these records.
Whispering? Dardanella? Where did he go?
He was type number 3. Nobody knows.
Oh, just disappeared.
Yes. He left the music by way of apology for him when he fell in love with long distance. And so we haven't bought any new ones.
Well, don't you like swing music?
It makes me think of the speed drills we used to have at Rubicam's Business College. We typed to very fast music, which made me nervous. I had to quit after a while. It made me so... Where shall I put the candles?
On the floor. This is nice. This is very nice. I like it. I like this place. I like you people, Laura. You're out of this world.
Are we?
You're shy. Don't be shy with me. I'm nothing to be shy of. What do you do?
Do?
Yes.
I don't know.
You went to business college and you didn't like it, and now
I stay home mostly.
you here?
Yes.
Well, what goes on?
Why, nothing.
But something must.
Why nothing, really? Nothing.
Huh. You're very pretty.
What?
The dreamy type in a girl is very attractive. What do you do?
I told you. Nothing. Not since the business college didn't work out,
But something else will.
I suppose.
Sure. Sure. Why, not everyone is as delicate as you. What do you do? I mean, you must have dates, don't you?
I...
Go out with fellows?
No,
Don't.
I don't get along very well with people, strangers. I don't meet people often.
I don't understand why not.
The city is big and everybody's busy.
What do you do?
You keep asking me that and I don't know. I sketch in the park. I have my glass collection.
A collection of glass?
Yes, little objects made out of glass, you know.
I've never seen any.
Of course you have, in windows.
Little glass objects, huh? Like what?
Animals mostly, little miniatures of them.
Animals mostly.
Yes, I've hundreds of them all around my room and all in very light and delicate colors. On sunny days, I live inside a rainbow.
Well, let me see them.
I can bring one out. Oh, wait here, I'll bring some out.
What is it?
Only wanted to give you an idea of them.
What is it?
It's a unicorn. Do you know what that is?
No. What?
Something that doesn't exist in the world anymore.
Oh.
It used to, though, when the world was in its childhood.
It looks like a horse.
It is a horse, with a horn.
But that doesn't exist anymore.
No, all of this kind have disappeared from the world. Gone like father, with only music behind them.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
He's all that's left of the beautiful unicorn horses. He's white. Well, he's not white. He's blue spilled all over white. The way snow is when it's late in the afternoon. And now, hold him up to the light. You see how he catches it? Oh, he loves it. Loves it. He has a permanent spot on the top shelf where the sun stays the longest because he loves it so.
But they're all gone, the others of his description.
Yes,
He must be lonesome.
he is. He's very brave, though. He stays on the shelf with the ordinary horses that don't have horns, and he seems to be getting along with them very nicely. I don't hear arguments going on among them.
No? Well then, no arguments.
You have to be careful. Careful. If you breathe, it breaks.
A person like me couldn't touch it.
Well, I think you could.
You don't know very much about me yet.
You told a good deal at the table.
I didn't think you were listening.
Oh, I was.
Can't imagine what made me talk so much.
I'm glad you did. Here, hold it if you like.
I better not.
Oh, please. There now. You're holding it very gently.
I am right now. But most of the time, you wouldn't trust me with it.
Most of the time. You hold it the same as I do.
The record stopped. I'd better change the record.
Play Dardanella. That's my favorite record.
Okay. Let's dance.
Oh, I've never danced. I wish I knew how.
Would you like to try?
Why, yes, I'd love to. Your hair is pretty.
Don't say pretty. It's more for a girl. Your hair is pretty.
Oh, mine's so fine, there's nothing I can do with it but let it go.
It's awfully pretty.
I still think yours is. Now, shall we start dancing?
Yes.
How do I...
Leave all that to me. Don't tighten up. Just be relaxed. Let me move you around.
Can you?
Sure I can.
Why, yes, you can.
Just let yourself go.
I'm stepping on you.
Don't mind me.
Don't you?
I'm not made in class.
It feels so funny.
Is that why you're laughing?
No, I'm out of breath. Can we stop for a minute? I feel so funny.
You're an awfully pretty girl.
What?
Pretty girl. Made out of glass. When it's sunny, living in a rainbow. What was that?
Mother.
Gosh,
Mrs. Wakefield.
Yes, Jean?
Laura and I would like to go for a walk, if you don't mind.
Armand, on such a lovely spring evening. Oh, we couldn't be nicer. You children do just as you please. I want so much to see young people happy.
Well, would you like to?
Why, what could be nicer?
The park's a couple blocks from here. Don't go in far, but the moon will make it lovely.
Let's do that then. That's a swell idea.
Yes, your coat, and don't you think Laura needs a wrap?
I don't think so.
I won't need any.
That lot thin dress, that summer dress she's wearing?
I won't need any. Honest, Mother, I won't.
Honest, Mrs. Wingfield, she won't need any.
All right. I'll leave the back door open for you. You children just run along, and
Come on, Laura.
don't be later than midnight.
Where are they now?
Gone for a walk?
Yeah?
Young man, he's already kissed her.
Huh?
Yes.
I declare, you are a witch.
No, but I was a girl. Girls are a pretty trap. That's what they've been and always will be, even when dreams plus action take for the world. Now, dreamy time. Let's finish clearing the dishes.